welcome back to Go Dope or Go Home. This is your host, Amber Lane, and let's have another conversation, y'all. So, I know we know about colorism and racism within our community, but I want to know, do you think that actually exists in our community? So, I brought two of my favorite girls here with me today. I brought my sister, Antionett Smith, and my best friend, Lyric Upshaw, and they're going to have that conversation with us. So, ladies, what's your flavor? Okay, so we know colorism is very prominent in our community. So let's start with growing up, the light skin versus the dark skin. How were you introduced to that? And then let's talk about childhood to like 20.
Childhood to 20.
To 20.
Shoot, I've been dark all my life, so
can't change it.
I mean, I was introduced to it very young, even with like family members. Like not even like outside people, just family members. Like even if they was like a smidge bit lighter than me, like they had to like make me know that I was like darker than them. Like and then they played on it as if it was a bad thing. So that made me grow up thinking like I don't want to be dark skinned.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be this dark.
Right, exactly. For me, mine was kind of traumatizing, just a little bit. So me and this girl of a lighter skin tone both like this boy, and you know I'm like I'm gonna get him because I'm cuter than her, and no tea no shade, but Miss Girl wasn't giving what she was supposed to give. You know we 10. It's like I'm like my beads is swinging a little harder than hers is, so I know he gonna pick me. Wasn't the case. You know, she had the little slick back ponytails with the little curls, and I'm like, okay, I don't have that. My mama got, you know, some cankalon in my hair with these little beads on. So, like, he legitimately told me, like, I don't like you like that. You just a little too dark. And I was just like, what? So does that mean that I'm not cute? Or, like, what is it?
Right.
And literally since then, it's always been, like, not necessarily like outward battle, but more so of an internal battle where it's like I know that I have to like either step my game up a little bit more because I'm not gonna be seen as equal to like the fairer skinned or the lighter skinned girls. Like I gotta compete just a little bit harder because I'm so chocolate. Like I love my skin now. Okay, like I'm very comfortable with it myself, but from like 10 to I'm not even gonna lie, probably 22. It's uncomfortable because you see it's in the media, it's in your family, like it's in relationships. You know, you gotta step your cookies up a little bit harder because you know that there's competition.
Right. And see, it honestly made me want to be of a darker complexion growing up because it was almost like the fairer complexions were perfect. And I didn't want to be looked at as perfect. Oh, she has good hair. Oh, she's light skinned. Oh, she can do this. Oh, she can do that. Like, no, I want to be normal. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think in society, even going back to slavery, it's always been a separation. So first it was the people that, you know, it was the women that were outside, not women, women that were outside and then the women that were inside. We were only good enough to have the babies, to cook, to clean. But it made it seem like we were the in the front girls, and it was the dark complexions were in the back. I didn't necessarily, and it made me want to be darker skinned just to get away from what society was kind of doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so let's talk about the stereotypes that we've noticed, like you said, in the media, social media. I mean let's start there. Even on Instagram, it's always. The fairer skinned girls may have more likes than the darker skinned girls. Now, I have noticed within the past 2 to 3 years, we've seen more of it being equal, but it's still an underlying issue that nobody is really dealing with. So, what do you guys think?
I personally feel like I think people take it as like a trend, like dark skinned girls are in now, so we're gonna make this a thing for them because they talked about it so much, opposed to actually knowing what it is. Like, it don't necessarily even have to be dark skin versus light skin or whatever. If that's your preference, that's your preference. Don't be like, I date light skin girls because dark skin girls is this.
Exactly.
Like, leave me out of it. I'm cool over here in my dark skin. Like, you literally could just like light skin girls and that be your preference, and I'd be okay with that. And it almost goes down to like our men. Like, even the darker skinned ones that would get the same treatment as us if women like the dark skinned men, light skinned men like that, like they prefer white girls or very light skinned black girls, and it's like, well, I date them because dark skin this, or I date this because black girls this, and it's like you can have your preference, you can like what you like, you can want what you want, but don't want it because of something you feel towards my skin tone.
Right.
Don't do that because they make it seem like you're only doing it for a trend, a fad, or something like that. Like you really ain't in it for that. And when these same people treat you like that, and then you got these dark-skinned women that's treating y'all how y'all supposed to be, I'm like, oh, now I want to go over here. No, don't treat me like no trend. I'm not no trend to you. No.
Because honestly, even tapping on what you said as far as the men, light-skinned men have the perception that they're 304s. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just out here. They're cheaters. They're manipulators. They got good hair. They have good money. But they're, like, outside of the appearance, they have nothing to them. And then I was... growing up, I looked at, you know what I'm saying, based off of other people's opinions, like, oh, dark-skinned men are dirty or whatever, you know what I'm saying, like, they can't clean up, or they're all hood, they don't have any class to them. Now, growing up, being 26, it's like, we got some nice chocolate men out, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just it's a nice balance between the two. It's not necessarily about what skin tone you are, it's actually on what the inside is. But we have the learning growing up with, even within our own community, like you said, our families, our friends, that it's all about appearance, and it's really more to that, especially when you're dating somebody, because you have to be with that person, and then go to marriage, you have to actually live with that person. So forget how much money you got in your pocket. What's on the inside? I mean, you know what I'm saying, you want a couple dollars, but what's on it? You know what I'm saying? What's the balance of it? So let's talk about hair. Right, so then we have the good hair versus bad hair with the skin tone. So only light skinned girls have good hair. Only dark skinned girls got nappy hair. Okay, right. Let's be 100. You know what I'm saying? That's really what we have. So what do you guys feel about that? What's experience, Lyric? What do you like? Say.
What? Oh, sorry.
Anyway, so I feel like when they say light skinned girls got the better hair, this, that, and the third, they talking about like these girls these girls that got white in them like generations down because they grandparent twice removed had white in them. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I got Indian in my family. No,
everybody said they got Native American in them.
I got 1%.
Okay, we might have it. But I feel like our hair is our hair. Like, you cannot determine, and that's what makes it so bad, because my hair is very kinky. So like, I didn't want to wear my hair out. I did not want to wear my hair out because it was so coily, and I'm like, now people gonna look at me funny because in the heat my hair draw up, and it draws up to the point where it's like a fro. So I'm like, I don't want to have it out here because people are saying stuff like that. I just now probably got to a point where it's like, I'm gonna just let my hair be my hair. Who cares? I ain't trying to date everybody in the world. I ain't trying to have everybody in the world looking at me, nor do I care anymore. I was well after 20 when I got to that point. I was 25, 26 years old. And then when I did marry my husband, I'm like, nope, you're not going to see my hair. Nope. And he like, I got the same hair. Like, what's the issue? And I'm like, the issue is society. Like, I don't like wearing it out. And you know, even now, I be still like find myself like, no, I'm not going to wear it out. I'm not going to do that. And like just last year, I cut it off. And then I was just like, not wearing it out. Not doing that. I cut it off for good reasons, but whatever. But that type of thing makes darker skinned women with tighter curls feel that type of way, like something wrong with us. When y'all really, if we're gonna keep it 100, y'all really trying to be like us. Like, y'all really trying to have what we have. And I ain't even really talking about light skinned girls, because they already got what we got. But I feel like with the more fairer skin, the ones that they be like, oh, they got the wavy hair, lay down with water. I'm like, okay, mine do too, but it take a lot of water. So, like,
a little eco-styler.
A little bucket of water. Like, you might spray yours and it go down. But y'all may have that. It still don't determine that y'all better than, because on the inside, just because your hair lay down, on the inside, you probably the ugliest person ever.
And like you said, it's a trend, because we've noticed natural hair now is a trend.
It's a trend.
To wear your hair is now a trend, regardless if it's kinky, 4C, it don't matter what number, what letter it is. Now it's a trend where everybody, especially Black people, are embracing our hair.
And however it comes and however it's, you know, I do still feel like that there's like a more likeness to the looser curl patterns, not more so, not the curly, the coily, the super coily curl patterns. Like, they like the looser curl patterns, and that's what's getting the most hype. Like, never would I ever walk outside and be like, I'm about to let my fro be my fro because 2, like on the flip side of things, it's not seen as professional. That's one thing. Like I would never wear my fro to a job interview. 1, because I already know that I'm already being judged on my skin color. I'm already being judged on the black African American checkbox. And then I come in here with a fro, I'm not getting the job. So like I would never, and it's sad. It's actually really, really sad.
Very
I would
sad.
never walk into like a corporate America job with my fro. Like I'm gonna have me a slick back or a bone straight jet black middle part, because that's just what I have to do. I have to have a bust down in order to like.
Yeah.
I gotta feel accepted some kind of way, you know. And like she was saying, just recently, like I started embracing my hair and like actually loving me and my hair, and it's just like she said, it's from like childhood and society. Like they don't give you love in that area. Like if you don't have the lighter skin or the fine flowy hair, it's just not enough. You know?
And honestly, that's sad based on what you said. I think it hit me when you just said it's not looked at as professional.
Yep.
And I feel that is so wrong.
It is.
Because it does not matter what I look like. It matters what I bring to the table.
Okay.
As a black woman, if I decide to have my hair out and it's me L down with a bunch of products,
okay,
and I come into work and I give you a better presentation than what somebody else that may have had, like you said, a buzz down part, middle part, like what separates me from her? If my work is still meeting the, you know what I'm saying, if it's still meeting the goal, whatever the goal is, if I'm still meeting my quota, I'm meeting the goal, what does my hair have anything to do with, or my skin tone have anything to do with my job? Because a lot of people are losing out on great people because they're looking at the outside versus, and then you going back and saying, man, we wish we would have hired them. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's even with our men. I know somebody to this day that's like, hey, you can only wash me so much before I'm like, I'm not. My hair is not going. Me coming in the parking lot with some loud music, it ain't going. But I'm going to come in a suit every day because that's what I'm, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm supposed to do. That's the professionalism in me. But you're not going to wash me too much.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen it like, because like when y'all were like younger, y'all wear your hair like in the what is it, the 2-strand twist type of stuff?
Yeah.
Y'all would wear that. Yeah. And the people around us,
oh my God,
our skin color would be like, specifically what you're talking about. Why? And I'm like, it's their hair.
Like the slave days.
Yes, exactly what I'm saying. Like we don't
no.
have to wear hair like that no more. We got pressing combs and all kind of stuff. And that is more than likely that's what changed my opinion on myself. Like I really can't wear my hair like this because it's not seen as clean and upkept. That is crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. And when y'all was talking about that, I'm like, I remember them going through that. That was one of the reasons as to why I didn't want to. And then I had a hairstyle that was more so looking like my natural hair than anything. And they're like, why? Why would you do that? Like, you could have straightened it. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want my hair straightened. Right. Like, I should be able to have that choice. I shouldn't have to walk around with my hair straightened for y'all to feel like I look presentable or I look good to y'all. I didn't get dressed for y'all.
Okay.
Period.
I'm comfortable with me.
Okay.
So let's talk about dating. So now we talked about appearance. We talked about society. Let's talk about our inner, what we deal with now as far as dating. So growing up, I want a light-skinned man with pretty eyes
and nice hair.
And nice hair. And so I got in high school and I was like, well, he dark skinned. I want him. He don't even gotta have a bunch of hair. You know what I'm saying? Like what did you have a dating preference? And if you did, what was it? As well as, like for me now, I just want the man to be right. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be, he don't have to be light skinned, he have to be dark skinned. It don't matter if he got kids, he don't got kids. It don't matter if, you know what I'm saying? You got me there. But it's more so on who he is as a man, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I want to marry within my culture. I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that. Some people want to marry outside their culture. Me, I would prefer to marry a man that's in my, you know what I'm saying, in my culture. So,
a black man.
What are you, a black man?
Because like I want my bloodline black.
Yeah.
And if that's bad, that's bad. But other people have their things to where you not bringing no child in here outside our culture.
Right.
I ain't trying to be funny. I'm not against whatever nobody want to do. However, I want my bloodline black.
And see that, okay, so now that brings me to a different question. Let's pause on the date and let's struck the nerve here, because why is it different for us to want to stay within our race when every other race is like, don't bring no black girl home, or don't bring this culture home.
Exactly.
But with us, it's like, oh, the black people, why are they like that?
Exactly.
But you the same
way.
It's
why? Looked at wrong, or like, oh, y'all biased because y'all don't want to date outside your race. Like, no, y'all do the same thing. Because if, say, for instance, hypothetically, I was to date a Caucasian man, his mom and his dad will look at him like you're crazy for bringing me home. Mm-hmm. Same way my mom would probably be like, what is it? Like, why is Tyler here? Like, what is going on? It's just, it's a cultural thing, and I think it's terrible, But it's like you can't pick and choose which is okay. Like, in most Southeast Asian cultures, they want to stick within, but nobody judges them for wanting to stick within. But when I say I want my husband to be black, I want my kids to be burnt, like, that's a problem.
Not burnt, Lord.
Like, I want my kids to be chocolate, like unlocked characters chocolate. Okay. So I need my man to be just as burnt and brown. But that's a problem for me to say that. Like, oh, she's biased, or oh, she racist. Like, no, I would date outside of my race. Would I marry outside of my race? No, because it brings up two things. One, you'll never understand my cycles that I go through every day.
Facts. You'll
never understand the things that I deal with. Like, I can never come to you and unload on you about anything that I've dealt with today, because it's always going to be, well, did you look at it from this way? Or well, you're just saying that because you're black. And it's just like, no, like, we deal with different things. Like, you would never experience a day the way that I experience a day, because you don't get looked at the way that I get looked at. So it's just unequally yoked, I would say. I would say it just doesn't make sense for me. Like, I want to be with somebody that can understand me through and through.
So let's tap back into dating. So how do y'all feel about that? Because dating? I know, okay, so like I've noticed too, like when we'll go out to eat or wherever, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I'm the fairest of them all in the group. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a bad thing, because I love being around, first y'all, you know what I'm saying? I love being around my people. So, and not my people like black people. I'm just saying my people like my people, my friends, my people. Let's clear that up right now. My people. So I've always noticed that it's always an issue when someone may come talk to me versus when they don't go talk to that person. And honestly, a lot of times I don't be want to talk to the people.
I get that.
I just want to be by myself, minding my own business.
And that's somebody that has something going on within themselves with the whole light skin versus dark skin. Because not even going to, hold you up, because I had been teased so much about being black this or black that or something like that. So when I was around a fair-skinned girl and a dude would go to her, I'd be like, oh, it's because I'm black.
That's normal. Like,
because I'm dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it sucks. It sucks. And because you can make that person that ain't even got really anything to do with it, that girl, you can make her feel some type of way, because you're like, dang, really, when that dude just like, she cute.
That's just what he like.
Yeah.
I like her. She's cute. I go for light skin. Cool. I'm not going to be like, that's because you don't like dark skin girls because you like light skin. No, you may like light skin girls because that's what you like. When I was growing up, I wanted some nice hair. Mm-hmm. I wanted some light skin and some pretty eyes. Wow. And I was like, okay, I dated 2 light skinned guys. And I was like, never again.
This is not fun here. I hate it here.
I said, never again. Never again in my life. After those 2 relationships, I went over to the dark side, because I was like, I couldn't do it. Like, most light-skinned men have, like, this complex of they want to be better than the woman. Like, they want to be prettier than the woman. So I be like, hold on, let me use the mirror.
We're not going to be in the mirror together this long.
Like,
baby.
No.
Let me get together. Like, you really got to brush your hair, brush your teeth, do whatever. I need to do the rest of my stuff. You should not take longer than me. You should not feel cuter than me. Like, no. And not to say that dark-skinned men don't, take pride in themselves or anything like that. Yeah. But they just not like that. Like, they treat women how women are supposed to be treated. So you got some light-skinned dudes that's good out here. I wouldn't date them. However, I'm still going to stay within my little chocolate group. And I told God, I said, the man you give me, I don't care what else you give me, he got to be dark-skinned.
I'm crying.
He got to be dark-skinned.
So he everything but.
He gotta be dark skinned. Wow. Maybe the other red flags, but he gotta be dark skinned.
I'll take a red flag or 2, but just make sure he chocolate.
But no, like it sucks because they make you feel some type of way. So you be like, I don't even want to date y'all over here because y'all already made this group of women feel some type of way.
And honestly, I feel like I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Just to interject this, I honestly feel like we've accepted a lot of the stereotypes that have been put on us. So a lot of our actions are based upon
What's
been put on you.
Exactly.
And that goes from generations from slavery. That goes from generations of your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents. Make sure you in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? I think the stereotypes that we've heard growing up in our culture have now we've embraced them, and now these are the people that we are. You know what I'm saying? We are literally living the stereotypes that were put on us. Yep. Versus just saying, hey, I'm light skinned, but I only need 10 minutes in the bathroom. You can do whatever you want to do after that.
And family don't make it no better. No. Like, family don't make it no better. Like, growing up, us being darker skinned, that's all that was throughout at us. If something went wrong. You're black this, or you're black that. You like, this, you that. And that's like...
It make you feel like, dang, do I want to be this dark? But, like, yeah, I do. You know? To go back to, like, the little dating thing. I didn't have a negative experience with light-skinned men. My preference was, and this is awful, my preference was light-skinned dreads. That's all I wanted. And once I got it, I was like, this is disgusting. I hate it here. I hate him. Like,
not him.
It was so self-centered. It was crazy. But it started out as, like, I was his first dark-skinned girl he dated. So it was given very much, like, fetish. Like, it's from him. I did date outside of my race. I dated a Caucasian guy, and it was giving very much fetish. So it's like, I don't know. I didn't get the negative, like, oh, you gotta wear this, you gotta wear that. I never got that from, like, the lighter skins or the white guys. I got fetish, like, oh, you're such a beautiful chocolate queen. Like, let me take care of you. And I'm just like, no. Like,
so you felt like they only wanted you because you were black.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a trend.
It's a trend. It's a thing. It's a fad. It's like, I have a black girlfriend. Let me make my parents mad because she's black.
Right.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I'm a little shook, y'all.
It's a little different. It's very much fetish. Like, even with, like, Hispanics. Like, I've talked to quite a few Hispanic men, and it's very much fetish. Not like, oh, you're just beautiful. It's, no, you're a beautiful black queen. You are so chocolate. You are a black beauty. And I'm just like, can you stop fetishizing
So
me?
how do you feel about you're very pretty to be a black woman?
I hate
You're
that.
very pretty
like,
to be a light-skinned girl. You're very pretty to be a dark-skinned girl.
Don't tell me that. That makes me mad. That's
like
not a compliment to me. That's an insult.
At all.
That's
Keep
an
it.
insult.
It's very backhanded.
Like, would I be ugly if I was, like, a little bit darker? Like, would I be ugly if I was a little bit lighter? Like, I'm confused. Like, how do I take that? You want me to say thank you?
You can just say that you're very pretty.
You are a very pretty girl.
But I feel like people have to say you're very pretty for a dark-skinned girl because a lot of dark-skinned girls never felt like they were pretty. So they're like, you're very pretty for a dark-skinned girl. And it's like, thank you, but I didn't need that.
Thank you?
I didn't really need you to give me that last
extra part. Like,
I know I'm pretty for a dark-skinned girl. I'm pretty for me.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. You don't got to tell me I'm pretty for a dark... Because I can be like, you cute for a white boy.
Bro, like, what?
Like, that would be rude.
That's rude.
That's very rude.
You
cute for a light-skinned dude. That's rude.
For a white boy. Like,
that's
what?
Rude.
That's rude.
Don't give me no backhanded compliment.
I hate that. Like, keep that. You could have kept that. Either tell me I'm pretty or just keep it pushing. Like, you don't got to tell me you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. I had this guy tell me, he said, if you weren't so dark, I would date you.
No.
Hispanic. I said, what? I was like, that's not a compliment. I was like, how did you expect me to respond to that? He just was like, well, I thought it would be a compliment because, like, typically we don't date black women. He's like, but I would date you if you weren't so dark. I was like, do you want me to, like, fight you now or later? Because this isn't given. Like, why did you think that was okay to say to me?
You could have kept that.
You could have kept that. That's your intrusive thoughts, and you should have, like, not gave into those because now I'm about to fight you. That's rude.
That's terrible.
So knowing what we know, what are some improvements that we can make within our community to actually change the stereotypes that we accepted, the ones that we've embraced?
You go first.
You go ahead.
I mean,
it don't have to be deep, but just something that it always takes to start.
Yeah.
Right. So if we can have this conversation all day long, but if we never say anything past this, if it's just conversations they've been going on for all our life.
Right.
But what can we do, even if it's a seed planted? Because eventually somebody else is going to plant another seed because they're like, oh, and maybe it's working. You know what I'm saying? So what are some seeds we can plant within our community, with our men, our women, you know what I'm saying, to actually start changing some of?
Well, what I do, it's probably weird. I probably shouldn't. But whenever I see a cute little chocolate girl, I always compliment her. Whether she has her little puff balls out or whatever it is. Because I feel like it starts very young. When they're impressionable and when they're trying to figure out who they are, it's important to, like, pour into them the positive because they're going to get a ton of negative. So I feel like it starts mostly, like, with the younger generation because the older generation are already set in their ways. You can't change them.
Yeah.
What they want is what they want. What they don't is what they don't. Can't fix that. But whenever I see a little girl out, whether she's, like, not just to say chocolate, but that's who getting the most hate right now.
Absolutely.
But when I see them out and I'm like, oh, my God, you're so pretty. I love your puffballs. I compliment them. Or a woman, I'll compliment her. So that way, like, she knows, like, okay, it's noticeable. Like, I'm being seen other than, like, by men. Because sometimes, like, that kind of attention isn't what we want. Like, we want some type of positive, like, encouragement from other people. So I go, not necessarily go out of my way, but I go out of my way to compliment people. Yeah. Just so they can feel like a little like, okay, I do look good today.
Especially women, like you said.
Yes.
Because women usually don't give women compliments.
They
because
don't.
You think I want to take your man, babe. No, I'm just telling
like
you, your dress is really cute.
Really
and
like
I think,
dress.
where you get the dress from? Like,
I
don't even care about what you got going on outside of these 4 walls. I had a parent at the school. I told both of them, good morning. I said, good morning. And she looked back at me like, ooh. I said, babe, I just said good morning. Like, it's just simple stuff like that. Like, it's just a general good morning or a general, hey, you look beautiful. And you feel like, babe, I just was telling you that you look cute.
I won't say it again. Like, I don't want your man. They don't expect you to be kind. They don't expect you to be kind.
They don't because a lot of females weren't for a long time. And I feel like we're coming out of that. But one thing I do, because I got 2 guy babies and they're girls, and they're dark skinned. They have kinky curly hair. They, exude the definition of a little black girl. So each and every time I'm talking to them or whatever, I just tell them, like, you're beautiful. Don't let nobody else tell you different. You're gorgeous. I love your hair. Even when it's like, like you say, in their puff balls, because that's their natural state of hair. I'm like, your hair is pretty. Because for a minute, my older got a baby. She was like, I want my hair straight. Because my stepdaughter's hair is, she can straighten it, or sometimes it's curly. She'll be like, I want my hair straightened like hers. And I'll be like, no, you don't need it to. She just do it because she want to do it, not because she hate her curls. She love her curls. And she'll be like, well, I don't like my curls. They're too tight. And I'm like, no, you love your curls. So now she says, I love my curls. I like my dark skin. And I'm like, yeah, you're so pretty. Because they are with their little waist. Because they are. And it's, and the same thing with the younger one. I tell them both that because they're little black girls and they're coming up in this world to where some stuff ain't even, the things that we went through is still there. Like, I feel like they still going to go through it and things of that nature. With my stepdaughter, she's mixed race. So she get it on both ends. Like, she get it like, you too dark to be white, but you too light to be black.
Exactly.
So I have to tell her, like, you're a beautiful little black girl. And she be like, I know. She embraced her other side. But her side that she really, like, takes onto is her black side or whatever. And I told her, I'm like, you'll never have to pick a side. Yeah. Both sides of you is beautiful. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Your curly hair, when you straighten your hair, when you get it wet and it goes stringy, like, all of that is cute. All of that is cute. You're a beautiful little girl. And she be like, okay, well, I just, her favorite song is Brown Skin Girl. So, like, that's her anthem. Aww. And I'm like, okay, Layla, cool.
And see, on my end, with me having a godson, it's scary. Because he's a black man growing up. And with police brutality the way it is, with the society the way it is, with our community tearing up within our community, it's really scary to raise a young black man. So like you say, I do, if he's only 1.5, I do affirm him like, you are just so smart, I'm saying X, Y, and Z. But when he gets 10, that's going to be a whole different situation. You know what I'm saying? And then when he gets 20, that's going to be a whole different situation. When he gets 30, it's, it seems like not even every decade, really every year of his life is different. Absolutely. So I think it's important that we just affirm each other. Like you said, it does start young. You know what I'm saying? Train the child in the way that they should go, honestly. Exactly. And that's because when the next year they turn, it's going to be something else going crazy in the world. You know what I'm saying? Our days are constantly changing. The climate is constantly changing. So I think what y'all both said, it was very good. It's just making sure that we affirm each other, compliment somebody. Yeah. Don't just look at somebody and be like, oh, her dress so cute, and you've been wanting to tell her since you walked in the door. It's going to tell her, girl, your dress so cute. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. At the end of the day, it's our job to have action. It's on them on how they react to your action. Exactly. So if our actions are empowering, it doesn't matter what your reaction. You could be mad at me because you think I want your man. God bless you. Just have a blessed day. I just love your dress. I don't care about, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all look nice.
So I think this is good. What y'all think? I think it's a conversation that we honestly need to have more often with people in our community.
Absolutely.
And I think we honestly will see
a little bit of a change. Yeah.
The seed is been planted, so now we just have to watch it grow and water it and grow. So on the dope side of things, it's nothing but tips and tricks. So I kind of want to, because that was real deep. We got to come up. Got to come a little high a little bit. Get a little, woo! So on the dope side of things is our segment where we talk about different tips and tricks. So last week we talked about eyebrows, how I gave them my little tip as far as how I dye my eyebrows. It's not really dye, it's liquid lipstick. Mm-hmm. So this week my tip is, I don't know if you guys do it, but I use setting spray throughout the process of me using my makeup. So everything I do initially is all liquid. And every time I apply a liquid to my face, I spray it before I actually blend it. And then I spray it at the end. Because we know liquid is the base, and then powder is pretty much like setting powder.
Yeah.
And then you put the setting spray on top, your makeup lasts forever. So what's the tip and trick that y'all want to give my peoples out there? Whether it's hair, whether it's makeup,
you just helped me.
Little toe polish or something. What y'all want to get? What y'all want to get?
I would say a tip or trick that I do. I kind of do that. Probably not throughout the whole face, but I do before. I will say this. This might be a tip or trick. Before I put my foundation on, I set my face with setting powder, with my translucent setting powder. Then I do my foundation. Then I do my setting spray. Before I do, blush or contour or anything like that. So I do my little translucent powder all over my face. Then I do my foundation. And it actually lasts. It sets good. I actually enjoy it. I found that off of YouTube. This girl was doing her makeup. And I'm like, let me try it. And I did it. I was like, it's a whole bunch of steps. My husband be like,
can you hurry up?
What? He literally said when I was doing it yesterday, he said, this is a lot. And I was like,
it's a 40-minute process.
I was like, it's not a lot for me. He was like, watching it is a lot. I said, that's because you're watching it.
I know that's right.
And he like, you do this every time you put makeup on? I said, not every time. I miss a couple steps, but I do this most of the time, every time. Yeah. And so, another one. When I do my blush here, but I always pick a color that's kind of sort of next to my skin tone, but a little bit brighter, and I put it on my nose.
You told me that. Put it on my nose, and I love it.
I put it on my nose.
Well, I guess I'll have to get blush, some setting powder, some setting spray, translucent. Did you say?
You gotta get a whole box.
Let's go to Sephora for this. Dang.
Yes.
My tip isn't makeup related because these are the makeup gurus. Mine is hair related. I am the wig girl. Okay. So a tip and
shameless plug.
Shameless plug. A little tip and trick that I use. You know how most girls, when you're using glue to secure your units, do not use heat. You use cool air. Cooler air lets it dry a little bit quicker, and it lets it be a little bit more tacky. If you're using heat when you're drying your glue, it's going to be runny, and it's going to take longer to dry. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, don't try to use glues that everybody in the world is using, because not all those glues are safe for you. No tea, no shade, but I've used a certain kind of glue that start with a G, end with a B. It'll break you out, okay? It'll break you out. You'll have bumps. Do patch tests. Patch tests are very important, because you'll have that wig on for a week. Next thing you know, your skin coming off with the lace. Wow. So it's very important to do patch tests.
Mine did.
And stop buying wigs from Amazon, because they're not that great.
Buying from her. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Follow her on Instagram. L.Tationa.
Thank you for tuning in.
So that's everything for this week, guys. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I can't wait to see you guys next week on Go Dope or Go Home. I didn't know if we could talk about